and welcome to the channel. Here we are back again in Palma, Mallorca, ready for our second cruise. This time, however, it's on Marella Explorer 2. So let's go on the journey. Are you ready, Karen?
I'm ready, let's go.
A reminder for those new to cruising that you'll fly to Mallorca as normal, and upon landing you will of course collect your luggage from the carousel and then proceed through security out and go and find the Marella reps at the Marella desk. If you already had your cabin number, you'll probably print it off your luggage tag. If not, the Marella reps will then tell you your cabin number and give you a tag for your bag. From there, they'll direct you to the first bus that will take you off to the ship. When you arrive at the ship, you'll leave your bags, that'll be transferred to your cabin, and then you'll check in, giving a credit card which will use for any onboard bills. We then walked onto the ship and progressed directly to the muster station where we were given our Marella cruise card. A cabin wasn't ready at that particular point, so we effectively just went up on deck and treated ourselves to a few drinks. Firstly, of course, starting with a glass of Prosecco and then having one of our first cocktails. At that point, we were able to go and get something to eat, and before long, our cabin was ready, so off we went. There's a balcony cabin on deck 8. And in a later video, I'll do a comparison between balcony cabins on Explorer 2 and Discovery 2. The cabin was really comfortable. The only problem we had was the deck 8 is above where the lifeboats are stored. And we had some really rough nights with the weather, and therefore got lots of clanking from the lifeboats. So my top tip would be, is if you're travelling on Explorer 2 at the beginning or end of the year where you could get some bad weather, you might want to get a cabin that's on the high. Dinner that evening was in latitude 52, and we must admit we found the food very good all week long. We then got into our usual habit of going and getting a couple of mocktails before going off to the show lounge to watch the evening show. Again, the shows were all of good value and we enjoyed them throughout the week. When we got back to the cabin, we found information for the next day and of course some chocolates. Good morning, here we are really on day 2 of the cruise. This is where we're transiting from Palma up of course the Italian coast. Wow, it was a little bit of a stormy night last night. I think as you can see behind me, we just been to breakfast. I'm just outside on the breakfast veranda, and it is a little breezy and windy, not too cold, but wow, we've got the facility. We'll see what we're going to do today in our sea day. Catch you later. So some people ask, what do we do on sea days? How can we spend sea days? Well, there's lots to do around the ship still. A major entertainment programme, things such as the gym, etc. Or you could just chill out in somewhere like this, which is the coffee port. We use the screen anchor often to get our mocktails. There's always something on there, including quizzes and a band or two. Indigo was another venue. I must admit, we tended not to use this a great deal, but again, there was entertainment on here nightly. Dinner that evening was in Vista, which is an Italian restaurant. We used it alternatively with latitude 53 and we really enjoyed the food there. The Livorno is an industrial port and therefore you can't walk out. You need to catch a bus to be able to get into town. To be honest, it was really easy and inexpensive. We decided we were going to make our own way to Pisa and decided that we would walk from the bus stop to the railway station, which was about 45 minutes. You can catch a bus. The train then would only take about 15 minutes to get to Pisa itself. In the station, it was really easy to go to the kiosk and ask for a couple of tickets, which were inexpensive, and then simply jump on the next train that came along. We walked from the station to the Leaning Tower. Again, it's not too far and really quite interesting. I'll do another video to give more detail on how to get to Pisa and back and what you can do there. The weather had turned by the time we got the train back to Livorno, and therefore it was raining and horrible. We caught the bus back to the ship and had an afternoon tea and chilled out for the rest of the day. Dinner that evening was in latitude 53, before again taking in the show. Day 4 we arrived in Savona and we took breakfast in the marketplace as we did every day. Also we had lunch there, self-service buffet. Be warned, it can get busy at peak times. Savona is a really easy walk off the ship. It's down onto the port side and then you'll cross a small bridge to the town itself. The top tip here is head for the tower, which is near the quayside, and the main shops are just down the street next to the tower. Having walked around the shops in the morning, the ship was so close we actually went back and had lunch, and then we ventured back out in the afternoon to go and see the castle. Great, it's free and offers fantastic views of Savona from the top. Then it was back for a coffee for a well-earned break before the usual evening of dinner and a show. Unfortunately, the weather was still bad in the Mediterranean, so although we were scheduled to go to Toulon, we actually went to Ajaccio Corsia, which we had been to before. Having visited Ajaccio on our first cruise, we decided to do something that we didn't do last time, which was to go and visit Napoleon's house. Again, not very expensive and quite interesting. We enjoyed it. Ajaccio is a good port to visit and we enjoyed it, but it was soon time to depart. Day 6 was Barcelona and we docked just after breakfast. Where the ship docked, it feels a long way from town, and most people on disembarking decided to get the buses. We actually decided to walk, and it was only about a 20-minute walk to where the buses dropped you off. So if you fit, my advice is walk into town. Barcelona is of course a brilliant city and a fantastic place to visit with lots to do. We had a fantastic day there walking around and saw lots of the sights. Having spent 3/4 of a day walking around the city and returning to the ship, it was time to put our feet up and relax and enjoy the fantastic weather. Day 7 was in Valencia. Now the port is some way from the city, so you need to jump on a bus. Marella sell tickets for buses on their on-ship website. City again has lots to see, including a fantastic marketplace in the centre, and indeed their bullring. We also had a chilled out coffee in a local cafe, which was very reasonably priced. Then we caught the bus back to the ship and chilled for the rest of the day. Final day was arrival back at Palma and of course travel home. Our flight wasn't till late, so we decided we want to venture into Palma. Now we tried initially to catch the bus, but one never came. We discovered later it's because they were full and missing out the port stop. So we walked across to the cathedral, which only took about 45 minutes to an hour, and walked back. Before, of course, then it was jump on the bus, back to the airport and fly home. Overall, despite some rough weather, we had a fantastic cruise, and hopefully this video will give you some top tips to have great cruising too.